Hey guys, welcome to Batch TV. Today's episode is virtually wholesaling live in the state of Washington. I'm excited to be able to showcase the one, the true, the only comping tool that's still available to us, Batch Leads. I'm also excited to be in the Evergreen State. It's been a while since we've been in Washington State. And just this morning, I was surprised to see I really don't have a whole lot of data in Washington. So I pulled a pretty extensive list just south of 3,500 records for us to play around with. I actually pulled across the entire state as well, not only in the major markets like Seattle and Tacoma and Spokane, but just across the entire state just to see if we're able to land one today during our short little session. So I'm excited for that. I also missed last week, and I apologize for that, but I was down for the count, man. I was running 103-degree fever, and I couldn't do a whole lot. So I've kind of flooded the airwaves with as much content as I possibly could this week to just try to make up for the sickness, the illness that I had last week. Thank God it wasn't COVID. I actually took a COVID test because I thought if this isn't COVID, I don't know what is. But I was negative and I was able to recover pretty quickly. So let's see who we got with us. We got someone, a Facebook user says that's a good market. We got Mr. Kyle Redmond. What's up, buddy? Good to see you. We got Mr. Kip Stevens. God morning. Good morning to you too, Mr. Stevens. And look, Kip says white jersey today looks like our Raiders jersey. No, this is the Los Angeles Kings. Okay. My kiddos, they love to get hockey jerseys. Of course, my daughter, she's learning how to play hockey now, and she was mad because she was wearing Bubba's hand-me-downs. And so I said, all right, for Christmas, let's all get the same hockey jersey. So my son picked out this retro LA Kings jersey. So me, my son, and my daughter, we all have the same jersey. Top of the morning, Viking Wizard. What's up, Jordan? Good to see you. That was Mr. Steven Morales, which, by the way, I think there will be an announcement pretty soon, but me and Steven will be doing something pretty cool on his platform. And then we got Ill Minds. How many deals do you guys have on the board right now? I think we're in the 60s, the mid-60s as far as deals on the board. So not doing half bad. So that being said, let's just get to it. We got some work to put in today. Here is the skip trace results. Put in 34.93. We ended up getting a total hits of 34.39, so 98.45% hit rate. We did have some matches in there from some previous data, so it didn't double charge us. I'm going to go ahead and push this direct to campaign from here. All right, and then the phone numbers we're using, they're in Vancouver, Washington. I need to go ahead and I need to change while that's uploading. I need to go to the market and I need to change the forwarding phone number to my cell phone. Where are you at, Vancouver? There you are. Aha, we already had it changed to me. Hey, RJ, just curious on your thoughts about MLS pulling their data from PropStream, assuming same for Batch Leads, Propelio, and other data aggregators. I did a whole video about this. That's not the case. It's not going to impact Batch Leads. And it looks like Propelio is back on the upswing. I saw a post from Daniel Moore about the fact that they have MLS data now in Texas, in Indiana, and I think a couple of other states. And then they believe they should have the ability to pull comps across the country here pretty soon. But right now, Batch Leads is the only place that I know of. I've seen a couple of other people talk about other systems, but I'm not familiar with those systems. I'm really only familiar with Batch Leads, but we're still able to pull comps. I've talked to Jesse and Evo. They don't foresee any reason why this is going to impact them. And listen, it was a beautiful technique that PropStream did with losing their ability to pull comps, coming out and saying, hey, this is going to impact everyone, right? Everyone's going to believe everything that PropStream says. I mean, why wouldn't you, right? That was glorious on their part. Unfortunately, it was just not accurate. It was just a bold-faced lie. I mean, I'll pull comps right here live on Batch Leads. So, I mean, they just didn't want the mass exodus, but unfortunately, that's what's going to happen. So, if you need to find a way to pull comps, go ahead, message PropStream, tell them, sorry, you don't get my $100 a month anymore. I'm going to give it to Batch Leads. And right there down at the bottom, promo code Titanium, get half off your first month. Yeah, shameless plug. I want your affiliate money. No qualms about it. That's what I'm here to do, make money. I'm a capitalist, baby. So I'm going to capitalize on someone else's failure. So let's see. Ill Minds, that's incredible, man. Do you mind sharing what your contract to close ratio is nationwide? I would say we're somewhere in the 75 to just south of 80% range. Appreciate that. And Mr. Nick Murray says Batch Leads remains number one. Yeah, and listen, I was pretty outspoken about this before. I thought Batch Leads was the most powerful tool in all of real estate investing. And here it is. Now it's the only place where you could get sold comps. This basically took away any argument, in my opinion, over which system is the best out there to use. So we got Prince Love. Good afternoon, RJ, watching from New Jersey. Love it. All right, let's see. Are we ready to rock and roll here? Let's see if we've got our campaign loaded up. Not all the way, but we're good enough to go ahead and get started here. So we'll send out our initial 100 texts just to get the ball rolling. And again, remember, we have registered with the 10 DLC. We're using local phone numbers now. I've seen a drastic increase with our delivery rate as well as our response rate. So we'll go ahead and show that real quick. This is a dispo campaign that we're running. We've have 94% delivery rate with a 28% response rate. 96% delivery here in Granbury, Texas, with 37% response rate. Mr. Justin over here, he's retired from texting apparently, so he hasn't texted out of his North Pole. We actually contracted a deal from our North Pole campaign. We got one in North Pole, Alaska, so that's the dispo campaign that we're going to be doing. We have a 96% delivery rate in Jackson, Mississippi with a 26% response rate. Let's see what we got here. We've got 89%. And I believe this one in South Carolina, the reason why the delivery rate is a little bit less is because this was when we were making the transition with the 10 DLC numbers. Same thing with this Cincinnati, Ohio. It's at 88%. See about Kansas, 83. This is where the transition was happening. That's why you see down here 42%. Drastic changes here with the delivery rates. Brian Woods, hey, RJ, I actually canceled my PropStream account about a month ago, and now really glad that I did. Batch Leads rules. Glad to have you in the family, and glad that drastic and swift decision by PropStream didn't impact your business too much. Marcus says, in order to get local numbers, do you have to register 10 DLC for each market that you're in? No. So let me show you that real quick. So here in my SMS settings, we are registered 10 DLC, and you see we have 41 active numbers right now. Our status is active. We registered on November 23rd. But when we go to our phone manager and we go to active phone numbers, we've got Vancouver, Birmingham, Little Rock, Fort Worth, Jackson, Mississippi, Toledo, Ohio. These are all the different markets that we have phone numbers. So no, you don't have to. And so I'm strategically using the numbers now. So it does make a little bit of an impact on the amount of numbers that you have. There needs to be a little bit more of a strategy to the numbers that you're buying and where you're buying them and how you're using them. So, for example, this morning, I had to drop 4 phone numbers in Denver, Colorado from a previous campaign that we were running there so I could purchase the phone numbers for Washington State this morning. So these are brand new phone numbers that we're using today. Is batch leads comps accurate? Yes. I mean, in fact, even prior to PropStream pulling the plug like they did this week, if you go back and you watch any of Cassie's episodes of the Comp Queen, you'll see that she actually felt, and I feel the same way, that batch leads comps were even more accurate than PropStream. And I talk about this in my video, where there were times where I was finding like huge inaccuracies with PropStream's comps in certain markets, to the tune of like $50,000+ off on certain properties. It was insane. So how's the process of registering to the 10 DLC? It does take a couple of days. Batch TV has a great video where Michelle Hastings walks you through that process step by step and shows you how to do it. So I recommend, if you haven't done it, go do it. But it's really just, telling them your EIN number and just answering a couple of questions, and then you just wait to get approved. Newbie question, 10 DLC numbers. So yeah, that's something that you need to do with any SMS platform now. You just need to register to the 10 DLC. Listen, this is the best way for me to put this, okay? This was the FCC wanting to get their piece of the pie financially of the SMS marketing game, okay? So you're going to pay them a $40 one-time fee plus $10 a month, and then your delivery rate will skyrocket. PropStream's comps are way off in smaller markets. Well, they were. Now they don't even have sold comps anymore. So now that statement is just, now they're just worthless to me. I don't know how to say that nicely. Maybe they shouldn't pull the plug on me. All right, so we're still waiting on some text to be delivered there. Do you think a single line dialer with batch is fine if I'm just cold calling myself? Absolutely. You don't have to get wrapped up in the, hey, I need a multi-line dialer game, okay? That's going to increase your I'm blanking here. Abandon rate. That's going to increase your abandon rate. Single line dialer would be fine. I think at some point in time, if you feel like, hey, I'm sitting stagnant and I'm not having enough conversations, then sure, why not increase it to a 3-line dialer and see what happens? But at any point in time, if you feel like, hey, I'm too inundated and my abandon rate is skyrocketing, why not go ahead and just bump it back down to the single line dialer? It's more about having quality conversations and making more offers than it is about how many dials you're making. Okay. All right, let's see if we got some responses. Not yet. I have seen this with some of the previous batch TV episodes that I've done since registering with the 10 DLC. There is a little bit of a delay in the initial text getting delivered. And then right around that like 1 hour mark, we see all of a sudden I'm completely inundated with responses, and it almost like stops me from being able to send any more initial texts. Brian says, can you talk to the batch leads team and ask them to please create a better way to share comps other than by exporting to a spreadsheet? I love the way that PropStream used a PDF document for this. Okay. That's a solid point, Brian, and honestly not something that I had thought about because that's not something that we typically do. So let me look at this real quick. I'll just use this random address right here. It's probably one from Cassie's comp show yesterday. All right, so let's say I come down here. I select all of them. That didn't work. Say I select those, okay. You can email comps. We'll see what that does. It says select all, okay. Email comps. So it's to an Excel spreadsheet. I do like the fact that it was. Did I not just do that? Okay, email's in there. It's not going through. Okay, don't like that. Export comps. Excel spreadsheet. That's what we got, huh? Yeah, you know what? Very solid point. I don't like that either. And it's funny that you bring that up because I don't really do this. But I completely understand why you would be doing this, especially say like if a buyer's, says, hey, what's the ARV? You want to be able to send the comps that you're looking at and send it. Also, if you just wanted to upload this to your CRM or for various reasons, I could see why you would want to export a PDF. And I agree. I would only want it to be a PDF as well. That was definitely something that both PropStream and Propelio had that I thought was extremely beneficial. So I will definitely have a conversation with Evo. And funny enough, I'll share this with you guys. This was just last night. Just last night. This is from Evo. I'm not sure if I can get that to clear up or not. But what it says is, feel free to share any feedback on ways to improve comps. So they're always looking for that feedback. So I appreciate, Brian, you bringing that to my attention, and I will definitely forward that to Evo right after today's show. How are you dealing with spam numbers? I'm assuming what you're talking about is if your phone number becomes a spam number. If it does, then we're just releasing it, and then we're changing the phone number out with the conversation. Hopefully that's what you meant by there. Miss Maria, my son Christian and I are coming to the Crucible in 2 weeks with you guys. I know. I'm super excited to have you here. Very excited to join up with you all. I'm wholesaling in South Carolina, and he's in the D.C. area, but is wholesaling virtually now. Love it. I'm excited to have you guys, and looking forward to meeting you finally in person. The spreadsheet is great to bring on appointments for those analytical sellers. I agree, but I to Brian's point, I like it better when it was a PDF, and so I think that was something that PropStream and Propelio both had on them. Does Batch have a linked properties tab? If not, highly recommend for them to add it as I'm making the switch from PropStream to Batch this week. That's already been requested by us. That was a cool feature that PropStream had introduced. I think they probably had it a little bit over a year. I think that got released during the 50-50-50 challenge. So it was a cool feature, but yeah, it's definitely something that we've already requested from Batch. Angel says, "Hey, King Closer, it's like we see you on the daily everywhere now." I think that's the point, right? To get out there for you guys and to answer any of y'all's questions and provide as much value as possible. So appreciate you noticing, Angel. By the way, Angel, we got to get you dialing on some of our leads, bro. Let's I said we were going to do that and we haven't done anything. So let's get that going. All right. Well, what a rocking way to start. 3 wrong numbers. Cool. I will unphase this. Does batch leads show the mortgage information? It does. Let me show you. 4704 Jasmine. This is property that we own right here. This is the example that I use in my video announcing PropStream's death. We got, Titanium. We've owned it 3 years and 4 months. There's the mortgage balance, the recording date, the sell amount, and the open mortgages right here. And then you can also go to sell and loan, and you can see right here the purchase, money mortgage, the loan amount, the lender's name, the due date, estimated loan payment, estimated principal, the estimated interest. And then you've got the past transactions. So this was actually the seller that sold it to us. And then we sold the property to Titanium Investments. And you see the sell prices right there. So that was just me moving around between a couple of different entities and doing some creative stuff. But this outlines right here your mortgage balance, the estimated equity, the estimated rent, and then the estimated value. Should your first hire be acquisitions or dispositions? That's a good question, and I think it's going to depend on what your strength is. I mean, and strangely enough, I think you should hire where your strength is, not where your weakness is, which is probably different than what most people would say. Most people would probably say, listen, if your weakness is dispositions, hire for dispositions. But the reality of hiring someone is that they are going to probably function somewhere in the range of 65 to 75% of what you are going to function as the business owner. So in that circumstance, you want to be able to hire someone that's going to fill your strengths, something that you can train to the best of your ability. So for us, it's always been we hired acquisitions people first. Now, as our business has grown and evolved over the course of time, things have changed. And so we have our acquisitions people doing dispositions as well. But that being said, if you are strong at acquisitions, then I would hire someone for acquisitions, and that allows you to then solely focus on becoming great at dispositions. It's better for you to learn how to do it than trying to hire someone to do something that you struggle in. All right. That's crazy. Batch has all that info on your prop in Texas. I thought Texas was a non-disclosure state. It is, but I don't know how they're able to figure it out. I just reap the benefits of the fact that they have them. Can you upload your driving for dollar leads to Batch Dialer? Yes, you can. Are you still able to find buyers with PropStream? Yeah, you're still able to pull lists with PropStream. You're still able to skip trace with PropStream. But you can do the exact same thing inside of Batch Leads as well as comp. So for us, it just kind of made PropStream an irrelevant tool. Interesting perspective. I'm way better at acquisitions than dispo, so I'll bring on an acquisitions guy. Right, because now if you're great at acquisitions, you're going to train him to be just like you, and then understand that if you train him appropriately, he's probably going to perform and function at about 70% of what you're able to do, while you're solely focused on dispo and getting great at that as well. Are you still using toll-free numbers here? If so, are you getting a good response with them? No, we're using the local phone numbers because we registered with the 10 DLC. That's what I was showing earlier, and I recommend everybody do that as well. The response rate has gone through the roof, and so has our delivery rate. How is batch leads with pulling properties purchased by cash buyers? I use those comps frequently as an anchor price for negotiating with sellers. It's there. You'll be able to see those just as well in the comps. So let's try to see if we got some responses going on so I can actually show you guys. Huh. Get some more text sent out. All right. Let's see. You wanted to see comps on cash purchases. So let's go back to this example right here. What's happening here? All right. List search. Whole different property. Maybe. Hypothetical question. If titanium was forced to only wholesale in one single market, which one would you choose and why? Well, if I was forced to only do one, I'd probably do my home market. Just because if I'm limited, that's going to change my strategy and my desire to want to be nationwide. I can do a whole lot more inside of my home market if I can't virtually wholesale in other markets. So that's why it would be a little bit of a different answer than probably you were looking for. All right, so here's another one of our properties. Let's go to the comps here. So again, this is another one right here. Shows how long we've owned the property. Total mortgage balance. That's a little bit off. I think we owe a little bit less than that on this one. So here we've got the comps. And what you wanted to see was the cash comps. I don't think that there's going to be a way for us to see the specific ones that are cash. I think what we're going to be able to see is can we see the as I refer to it as is. So you can pull those up. So on this one, 5141 Bay Ridge Court, which we've got a lot of comps right here. Let me see if I can find that one. So that one doesn't have any pictures. Some of them have pictures like this, but that's a new build. There's a lot of new builds going on in this neighborhood. See these right here. These have the MLS pictures on them. So what I would do is if I saw like a glaring difference in the price, I would then go look at the pictures to see if it sold as is. Now, this is a little bit of a newer neighborhood, right? So this property was built in 2012. But so this is our subject property, but from this street over, like this is all new houses now. All of these are new houses. All of this has been built up. So this isn't going to have too many of those cash as is solds. Let me see if I can find another just off the top of my head. So that being said, you can find it. It's just going to be more as is and utilizing the pictures there. So hopefully that kind of answered your question. All right. So Armando asks, what's my minimum / maximum square foot while pulling lists? So I actually don't use that filter when I'm pulling lists. Armando, what I am focused on is the estimated value, which is basically Batch's algorithm that they have based off of their comp pulling tool. It basically gives like what Zillow's estimate is. They have one of those for themselves. It gives you an estimated value. I use that filter. And then I'm also utilizing the estimated equity. And so from there, what I'm determining is if I go to a specific city, so like for today, Seattle, Washington, okay, I'm going to decide what my estimated value is and where I want to hit that median buy box for the cash buyer investor, the flipper, the landlord. This is a little bit of a tougher market for that because you're going to probably be targeting more specifically flips because of the high price point. But I'm going to pick that estimated value. And from there, that's going to really weed out a lot of the super large properties and the super small properties and just kind of get you into that cookie cutter buy box. So that's how I kind of eliminate that from our list. Do you buy in Houston or just DFW? We have a 4-2 coming up in Houston. We only wholesale in Houston. I mean, we do buy here in DFW, but we'll only wholesale in Houston just because it's so far from us. That was a great feature on PropStream. Maybe something to discuss with batch leads for having the option to categorize cash as is properties under comps. I can definitely talk to them about it and see. It's interesting to see how the different people were utilizing the same tool because that's like something that we never really used. But I completely understand, especially with your explanation in your previous comment, why you were using it and how you were using it. So yeah, that's definitely another thing. These are all great tips and suggestions that we can definitely push on to batch leads and ask them to add it to their comping tool. Okay, so on this one, the seller wants to know, who is this? Where'd you get your number? So I tagged it as a vacant property. So just let them know I pulled the list of vacant properties and skip traces see if those owners want to sell. All right. Getting a little bit of responses now. Haven't got any incoming phone calls yet, though, which is not entirely surprising. Washington State is one of the more difficult markets. If you're a regular viewer, you've probably heard me say anything west of Texas, it's pretty difficult. So, have you gotten your Utah deal yet? We might need a 50-50-50 in just Utah, if not. So, funny story about Utah. I had someone that reached out to me about attending the Titanium Crucible, our 2-day boot camp, and he was based out of Utah. And he was like, and so I was talking to him about coming to the Crucible, and I was telling him, about the 50-50-50. He had never heard of it before. And I told him that Utah was the one place that I wasn't able to get a deal. And he was like, dude, I've got a property under contract right now. Why don't we just JV it and you dispo it? And I'm like, I would be amazing. He's like, it would be amazing for you, man. You'd get all 50 states. And I was like, yes, sounds great. So he sends over the details. And strangely enough, we had just had a Crucible. And so Cassie's like, one of our attendees has a buyer right now in that area looking for a deal. So we send it over to him. The next morning, he goes out and walks the property, and he says, I'll give you your asking price. So I call up the guy, and I'm like, hey, man, I got your property sold. And he's like, yeah, so about that, I didn't really know you. So I went ahead and I started marketing it, and I got an offer for $30,000 above my asking price. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, this is a little bit awkward because I kind of sent it out to the buyer saying this is the price. So I don't really know how to go back to him and say, well, hey, bud, if you want it, you got to pay me more than $30,000 more. And he was like, well, just call him and tell him. I mean, it's Utah, man. That's how we do stuff here. So I called him, and then that guy basically said, that's not how we do stuff here. And I don't want to do business with you anymore because you told me this is the price, and I said I was willing to do it. So I did dispo a deal in Utah. It just didn't count because it got taken away from me. So my hatred for Utah has only increased since the 50-50-50. Maria, when wholesaling virtually, how do you start escrow with title companies where you aren't familiar with those that are investor friendly? I have 2 properties under contract in Largo and Tampa. So one of the things that we always do if it's just a completely random location is we ask for feedback from our buyers or from other people that we know. So for example, just Tampa, I mean, I'm going to text my buddy Steven Morales and say, hey, bud, what's a good title company to use? Utilizing that network. And then the other thing is I'm not too wrapped up in the whole like investor friendly thing. Listen, 90% of title companies suck. So, I mean, finding the good ones is great when you do. But the reality of what we do in many different locations is we're just got to deal with the ones that suck. So, but in that circumstance, I'd reach out to Steven Morales, ask him, which I can do that for you, Maria. And then just I'd open up title on both of them in the same location. Do you wholesale in Georgia? Absolutely. There you go. Steven, he's here. He's watching. He knows a good escrow company in Tampa. United Title Affiliates, and he's used them for years. There you go. Is there any way to filter cash buyers in an area by the amount of properties they own? You can do that in Propelio, Mario, by the amount of deals that they've purchased. You can't do that inside of Batch. You can only do that inside of Propelio. All right. Finally got some responses coming through. That's good. How many contracts are you inking each month? I ask because you're dangerously comfortable in that prospecting role and you're freaking money on the consistency level. Appreciate that, man. We've been fluctuating probably for the past 9-10 months on the low side, mid 50s. To the high side, I think our best month was 96. So yeah, we've been on a good run, but that's with the increased size of team, being laser focused on this. There was a period in time, Andrew, you've been following my journey for a while. There was a period of time where we were taking down a lot of properties. We were doing a lot of flips and stuff. And now we're really laser focused on just the virtual wholesaling model. Not really taking down as many rentals and owner finances and flips. We just felt like we just weren't as good and as profitable on those as we are in the wholesaling world. And that's where our roots are from anyways. That's where we originally got started. So, yeah, man, it's been definitely a good run here over the past, really since a 50-50-50, that's where we basically changed our entire business and said, this is what we're going to do based around what I was doing. And then everything that has changed in our business was from that foundation that I laid there. How many employees do you have, VAs included? Curious to know what manpower is behind an operation of your size. So we have 4 VAs. And then we've got myself, Cassie, and then we've got, I can see them. They're all right here. We got Justin, we got Royce, we got Robert, we got Cruz, and then we got Patrick. So we've got 5 guys doing acquisitions and dispositions. We just had someone that left and decided to go do his own thing this morning. So we had 6. And then we've got Brittany, who's our administrative assistant / controller role. That's it. That's our team. But we're always hiring. So we've got 2 people that we're hiring probably this week to come in and do more acquisitions and dispositions, because really the main issue that we have right now is on dispositions. William says, are you only texting for leads? No, we have SMS, we have cold call, and then we have peepers. I tried to blend that. PPC, pay per click, leads from speed to lead as well. Those are going to be our main sources of leads. Do you happen to have a Word document or PDF of that? Very straightforward. Yes, we're working on getting you guys a link for that where y'all can all download it. I thought it was going to be easier, but we're going to get that done pretty soon. Have you ever thought about building out a Driving for Dollars team? We have, but it's just right now where we are is we're doing really good, and we're just going to stay focused on what we're doing. But yeah, we actually had someone attend the Crucible who's killing it with batch driven, and he gave us some great tips about how he's utilizing that tool. Mr. Zachary Hamilton, what's up, Titan? Says Royce and Cruz are some bad mama jamas. Hey, y'all getting shout outs in here. Do you or any of your teammates have a real estate license? Cassie does. We have a brokerage, Titanium Realty. And do you think it would help if a new investor tried to get one? No. Just have a sense of credibility before jumping in. No. Because that's the reason why I don't have it, because I don't want to have to disclose that I'm a licensed realtor. I don't want to have to worry about that fiduciary duty or anything like that. I want to be able to just come in and say, I'm a buyer. This is how I can solve that problem for you. This is what I want to do. Cassie's the one that has to go in there and say, listen, I'm the licensed realtor. This is what I can do. There's a lot of disclosures that you have to worry about in that regard. So, no, I don't think it's something that you need to add for credibility. Your office is located. We are located in Fort Worth off of Eagle Mountain Lake on Boat Club Road. The property will be on the market in a couple of months. I'd be happy to have you speak with our agent at that time. All right. Send some more out. Do you use direct mail at all? We have in the past. We haven't probably in a couple of years, really. I think Batch has a great setup inside of Batch Leads to use direct mail. But honestly, like I said, our problem that we're wanting to solve here is not acquisitions. We're stone cold killers when it comes to that. It's about the fact that we need more manpower and we need to be better at dispositions. There's times where we bog ourselves down with the disposition side of things. We're not as efficient as we are in acquisitions. I think part of that is going back to my strength is within acquisitions. And then also because we are nationwide, there's times where we get properties in random locations where, it would probably be better if we weren't locking up deals in North Pole, Alaska. But, I went out and decided on, Christmas Eve to do a Batch TV episode in North Pole, and then we go get one. And so we just don't have a need to add another source of marketing right now. But I think in the future, yes, there definitely will be direct mail. I think direct mail is great. I think it's it's where the highest, most profitable leads are always going to come from, is from direct mail, because they're usually the hardest people to get a hold of. When SMS text blasting with batch, does it let you know if it's a mobile phone line or landline? Yeah, it's automatically going to get rid of the landlines and only text the mobile. How much are you spending a month on PPC? Great question. So for us, we actually are not spending anything on PPC. We have a relationship with Gene Blinkoff at Speed to Lead, and we actually helped him early on in the development of that, where we were kind of his dumpster, where any leads that never got purchased in a certain period of time, he was basically just dumping off to us, and for a split of the profit on the backside. So we have a percentage basis that we give them a part of the wholesale fee. The good side of that is we're not spending any money on it. The bad side is that we get leads and random locations that no one wanted to purchase. So it's a double-edged sword. But I will say that's also why his leads have gotten really, really good for Speed to Lead, because we've helped kind of tweak those. Cassie spent a lot of time with him talking about, listen, we don't want mobile homes in the middle of nowhere in Wyoming. And so he's kind of dialed it in now, and those have really gotten better. How do you know what to offer when you enter a new market? First, you're looking at the comps, and then second, the discount that you're wanting to look for should probably be pretty similar across the board. I mean, there's going to be places like Phoenix, like the Seattles, even sometimes here in DFW, where you've got the dumbass investors that are paying too much money. Okay. But for the most part, when you go to places like Alabama, Ohio, Indiana, everybody pretty much wants to be around the same discount. They want to be somewhere with a 25 to 30% discount minus repairs. That's where most people want to be. There's other places where you can really push the envelope and try to get more, but that's going to be pretty consensus across the board is pretty much going to be that 25 to 30% discount. Do you get any pushback from virtual sellers when they find out you're not in their city? Very rarely. We speak with such confidence in what we do, and the fact that this is truly what we do, and we know we have the results, that if you just explain, like, listen, we're a nationwide company, you can look us up online. I hear the guys all the time talk about, listen, our CEO is RJ Bates. You can look him up. There's credibility there. They watch videos like this. Hello, if you've made it this far, Mr. Future Seller. Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of confidence in what we do. And so when you speak with that level of confidence, it just makes them feel comfortable and willing to work with you. All right, let's go back to our campaign here. Loving the questions today. You guys are full of them. Makes sense, but we're not going there at this time. I appreciate your inquiry, but we'll be working through our agent. Interesting. Interesting decisions that people make. All right, let's get some more text sent out. Get something going, man. Rough first hour. This was one of the, I would probably say, top 10 most difficult states for me during the 50-50-50. I got lucky. I got a deal during the actual day, locked up, but it was one of those markets where you could tell the response rate was a lot lower, and then the responses were extremely negative, which is crazy to me because, like, Oregon is one of my favorite markets, probably my top favorite market, anything west of Texas. And in Washington State, you would think would be similar to Oregon. I almost think it's like the exact same, but it's just the mindset, the conversations, they're extremely negative. Never really had good experiences with marketing inside the state of Washington. Isn't it only like 10 a.m.? Yeah, it's 10:30 in Washington, which I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, people have their phones on them 24/7 anyways, and this is just a text message that we're sending, so I don't think there's anything wrong with us sending it out to them.
Mornings were always the best time for me over on that side.
Yeah, and to Patrick's point, he's from Oregon, and he said mornings were always some of the best times for him to start texting over in Oregon. Did you first start investing part-time? If so, when did you know it was time to go full-time? I learned about wholesaling in August of 2014, and I went full-time January 1st of 2015. One thing I can promise you is when I see an opportunity, I'm gonna go after it. And me and Cassie were relentless. Cassie, how many deals do you think we wholesaled before we shut down our other business? 4? I know we did. We did the one deal, the first deal that we did. We made $7,000. Then we did the deal where we went down to $11 in our bank account. That was our second deal. And then we did Wateca. We made $27,000. And I think there was one more that we did right at the end of the year. Maybe not. We might have only done 3 deals, Kenny, before we went full time. January 1st of 2015, Cassie and I were working, and I told her we're shutting down our business, and we went full time.
Dove right off that cliff with you.
Did you already make a video on dispo campaigns and how to do it? I do have a video on my YouTube channel where I show how to pull the list using Propelio's cash buyer list. You can do the same thing inside a batch. And then the dispo campaigns are just going to be basically you upload the cash buyers list, and then you've got your initial text that you send out, like, hey, did you get my voicemail? Hey, did you check out the link I sent you? Whatever the initial text templates you have that are just conversation starters, and then you just basically hit them with, hey, I'm looking to wholesale a property. What is the best way to start a boots on the ground team in a new market? I'm new virtually in Fresno, California, and the Facebook groups are very thin. So are you virtually wholesaling in Fresno, California? Because if so, I got a buyer for you, buddy. I'll JV with you all day, every day. Any deal you got there. He's one of my best private money lenders, and he's actively looking for deals. As far as boots on the ground, he could also be your boots on the ground. So I might just have that for you. So I'm just going to put my email in here, and why don't you just go ahead and send anything you got there, and I got your Fresno taken care of. Let's see here. I'm in Washington State right now. Let me know if you need boots on the ground. Well, right now, there ain't much happening, but we might right here. Someone says everything has a price. What's the price of this property? Let's see what they say. Gotta love smart asses. Text me over your letter. Do you get all your leads from batch or do you have other sources? So we pull all of our lists from batch leads. We do SMS marketing through batch leads. Then we push it to batch dialer. The only leads that we're going to get that don't come from batch are going to be our PPC leads, which are obviously inbound. Well, and also anything that we get from SEO. Question, is there any plan to increase the photos available on properties? One good thing about properties, they have way more photos. So they're literally just pulling whatever photos are straight off the MLS. Yeah, I agree. I feel like batch has more photos.
Market specific.
Do you still use PropStream? No, there's nothing to use it for. It died on Wednesday.
I can't help myself. I keep
Or
looking at
Tuesday.
it. Like, is this real?
They quit. They were tired. They pulled an Antonio Brown. They ran across the end zone with their shirt off saying bye. I mean, the one thing I used it for was comps. They don't have them anymore. So I'm not happy about it. I liked having it. We literally had a show on our YouTube channel every single week talking about use PropStream, use Propelio, use batch leads, have more resources. And then they were like, meh, we don't want to do that anymore. Cool. Bye. I already have a 400K as is offer. I'm not interested in selling, but I would for the right price. 400K as is. Can I get anything a little bit closer? Let's go half mile. There we go. So he's got why would this sell for so much? Those stars on the ceilings? This thing's outdated. Yeah, see, this is what that's what I was talking about with the pictures. This must have, what does that, more land? Yeah, it had 51,000 square foot of land. Pretty drastic price difference, though. Doesn't even look like it's that big. I think PropStream MLS comps were only taken from disclosure states because I'm in the state of Georgia and I still can't see the sold MLS comps. Well, whatever.
They might have changed it, but it was.
When we were trying to pull comps, it just wasn't even there. So, I mean, we still have our access. We haven't canceled, but I mean, fact of the matter is I can do all of it right here in this one spot. And now I'm going to have to know which states I can pull comps in PropStream, which ones I can't. And man, What marketing channels generates the hottest leads in terms of motivation, timeline, etc.? Terms of motivation and timeline, I think from a motivation standpoint, I think anything inbound is probably going to be the best. So PPC, SEO, anything that comes into you, because those are people like actively reaching like, hey, man, I'm desperate, I need to sell. I think from a motivation standpoint, texting is probably going to be the least. Cold calling is probably going to be right there because you're outbound and you're going to get a lot of the, no, why are you reaching out to me? I mean, we see it here on the lives. But yeah, anything that you can force someone coming to you saying, I want to sell, that's the best way to do it. Yeah, you can't comp it. I believe it's only 12 states, but the rest of the states are good. Is that true? I mean, I thought this was like, I don't know. This guy's saying that you can comp prop stream in all but 12 states. I don't know. Whatever. I know a ton of people are leaving them because of it. So maybe it's not that big of a deal, but I know.
I must have hit 4 of the 12 states yesterday.
Right.
I mean, you can still comp.
Whatever those 12 states are, we have tried to comp in them.
There, but you can comp only like actives and.
All right, so this dude has an offer for 400,000, and he's not even accepting it. He's crazy. The properties I'm not happy with are that I'm fat and I'm ugly. All right. We're getting responses. We're not getting good ones, but at least people are responding. I've seen from at least 3 sources that the NAR is behind removing third-party access to MLS sold and expired listings. I keep hearing that from people. I keep hearing that from mainly people that are somehow closely related to PropStream. I just know the conversations that I've had with Batch, and they have 3 different sources that they get comps from, and they have contacted them, and they're told this is not going to impact them whatsoever. So I don't know what's going on with PropStream. I just know what Batch has told me, and Batch has told me it's going to be good. So what it looks like from the outside, just my opinion, okay? This is not verified information, just my opinion. It looks like some people whose pocketbooks are going to be impacted from people canceling PropStream are trying to say this is going to impact everyone. Please, for the love of God, don't cancel PropStream because it's going to impact batch leads and it's going to impact everyone else. But I don't think that's the case. I think this has to do with Stuart Title purchasing PropStream and them having an agreement with another, what was it called? Another program for that pulls comps. So I think that's what it has to do with. I don't think NAR was behind this. Although it does sound like a good story, and I have to give a lot of people credit. Like they are doing a really good job of trying to keep people signed up. Stewart presides over title companies. Said title companies need retail agents to book escrow/closings theirs to make money. There you go. That makes sense, Andrew. I'm sure Stewart does not want to be the right hat by their realtors. Oh, there you go. So maybe that was the case. Maybe Stewart Title just did this to get more closings from the realtors. Who knows? Seems strange. $175 million purchase. But who do you think will take the cup this year? I think it's too early to tell. You know, the one thing about the NHL is you want to be hot at the right time of the year. And then also with COVID, I mean, you also want to be healthy at the right time of the year. You know, there's been period of times where Minnesota looked like they were a cup contender, and then you watch them in the Winter Classic, and they look like dog shit. You know, hopefully my team, the Stars, can wake up and get healthy. We finally figured out the goaltending stuff, got rid of Dobie, sent him down to the minors. Bishop finally retired that, you know, figured out, you know, you got to have knees to be able to play goalie. So I think with Ottinger, maybe we can hit our stride and get back in contention there. You know, of course, you've got the two-time defending champs with the Lightning, of course, like Andrew brought up. But listen, to win something 3 times in a row is just extremely hard. I'm going to show how difficult it is with the Closers Olympics. I'll win that 3 times in a row. But the Lightning, I don't think this is going to be their year again. And then you got Colorado. They're finding their stride. I think they'll be a huge contender as well. So right now, I would say if I had to pick somebody, I'd probably say Colorado. They're probably the team that is I'm most fearful of as not being a fan of them. I also like Carolina as well, out of the East. All right, man. Blockstar, he is really pushing for the prop stream here. Alaska, Idaho, Kansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, New Mexico, North Dakota, Texas, Utah, Wyoming. Those are the states that you can't comp with prop stream. All right. Well, let's see. Let's see what we can do here. What is that property I own in Ohio? Is 1083 Stroman. Let's see. 1083 Stroman. Really, guys? Really?
What?
Can you just not log me out for 35 seconds? I don't even know why we're in it anyways. The shit doesn't work.
Why are you trying to get in props?
Okay, so this is the public record. Where are the MLS comps?
Again, that's why I'm saying, like, literally PropStream said that's only going to be active, contingent, and pending.
So yeah, you can still comp. You can comp on Zillow too.
Where are my MLS comps? This is just public record. All right. Well,
Wow.
there we are. I mean, there's no MLS comps there, bud. Sorry. It's just public record. Indianapolis isn't available in prop stream either. It only shows estimates. Yeah. You're good using prop stream. That's what I was just showing you. Whatever, man. Y'all go use it. Sounds good. Let's talk about something else. I'm tired of talking about that shitty program. Your comps were the solds, isn't it? What? Those are not MLS comps, dude. Those are just. I'm just telling you that that's not. No bueno. Okay. I mean, you can keep doing it. I'm not. I'm gonna go get MLS comps. The house has already been sold to a friend's daughter, so it's off the market. She's doing a lot of remodeling. If you drive by us, okay, it's already been sold. Cool. Yeah, I know. There used to be a tab, but now there's not. There we go. Now we have something that I want to talk about. The real question is what team is going to draft Trinity in the NHL draft?
Yes.
If you asked him right now, I think he would probably say it's going to be a Seattle Kraken. And you know what? And I can't even hate on him. Like if I were his age and a team came out called the Seattle Kraken, like I would want to be drafted by them. I'd want to go play for a team called the Kraken. So, you know, maybe they won't be as crazy of a state if he gets drafted there. And I'll go spend some time up there. But he's got a out of town hockey tournament next week in Tampa. So we're going to be going to Tampa next week. By the way, I'm going to be no Batch TV next week. I'm going to be in Tampa at his hockey tournament. It was exactly the same as Batch until it just losing its comp. What is the breakdown you use to compensate your acquisitions team? It's 10% for acquisitions, 10% for dispo. All right. Dustin wants to know, do I have my real estate license? I don't know. Cassie does. The con would be that you're going to have to disclose that when you're talking to sellers, that you're a licensed realtor. And then you have a fiduciary duty to them. So that's why I've always not done it. I didn't want to have to disclose it when I go to talk to the sellers. So I would say unless you have a really good reasoning behind wanting to get it, you should just stay focused on talking to more sellers. Stuff your voicemail where the sun don't shine. You want to sell that property?
Yeah.
You sound disgruntled. Angel says Trinity's going to end up with the Ducks and he can crash at his place. Angel, I think if he ends up in the NHL, he'll be able to afford his own place, hopefully. But I do appreciate the offer. He was a part of a camp over the Christmas break, and he ended up playing with a bunch of the Dallas Stars elite players, which is like the AAA program that he was trying out for, and he just barely didn't make it. And so he was facing a lot of those boys, and he came up to me after like the second or third day, and he's like, "Dad, I figured it out. The DSC players, they don't like it when I go and I just hit them and knock them down. They don't like that." I'm like, oh my God, he's a little savage like me. Like, yeah, just go knock them on their ass, son, and they don't like that. That's how you beat them. Oh man, it's gonna be an interesting next decade to see what he does with this. All right. How many more texts can we send out today? I can only send out 100 more. Let's go ahead and get them sent out. All right. We'll wait on some more responses, but I'm probably going to wrap up here in about 5 minutes. Mario wants to know, how many phone numbers are you now pulling per market? So on this one, Mario, I have 4 phone numbers. So it'll allow us to be able to send out 800 texts for this campaign. So like I just sent out today's 800. And the campaign itself is, going to be a little bit over 3,000. So instead of us blowing through a campaign like this in a day, this campaign will survive, 3 or 4 days. I would say probably the most phone numbers that we've pulled in a specific market was 5. And that's what I was talking about earlier on. I don't know if you were here or not, but we're just having to be a lot more strategic with our phone number usage and the purchase of, why are we pulling this many phone numbers and what are we going to do with them? It's just takes a little bit more thought process going into that, where in the past it was just, hey, let's go buy 20, 30, 40, 50 phone numbers and be able to text as much as we want. It just takes a little bit more thought process now. All right, let's see what this comment is. A bidding war, it was supposed to say. Do you know something I don't know? Is there a gold mine on here that I'm not aware of? Listen to me. I've lived here for 15 plus years. What is the condition of this home? Good, ugly, or scary? Perfect. Seriously, you asked me to purchase my house. There's many people who text me. They actually call me, which would probably be the more decent thing to do, and offer to purchase my home. Maybe we can start a bidding more war between all of you. Interesting response. Do not think I am interested any longer. Have a good day. Got plenty of sellers there, Gail. You're not going to be one of mine. Washington State might be as angry as Nebraska. Might be the new one. These angry people.
Could be right.
Do you find SMS blasts effective over cold calling? I think it's more cost effective. I can talk to more people, and that's why we start our marketing flow with SMS, and then we move on to cold calling, just because it's more cost effective and we can touch more people on a daily basis. So that being said, we didn't have one phone conversation with a seller today in Washington. I have 800 texts in, and we didn't get any very good leads. But I did answer a shit ton of y'all's questions, and I talked a lot about PropStream and how it sucks now. So that being said, hopefully y'all have a great day. If you want to see me actually try to close some deals and actually talk to some people, tune in at 4 p.m. So we've got 3 hours. I'll be back live for another 2 hours on the Speed to Lead show, where I'll be calling PPC leads and locking them up live. All right, guys. Hopefully y'all have a great 3 hours. We'll see y'all then.